Hi everybody, this is Anthony Massey, webmaster of Halloween movies.
And I am Daniel Farrands, the writer of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. This scene in particular, this opening POV walking up to what we'll reveal to be the Myers house, this was supposed to be a homage to the original film where the opening shot of the original film was famous with the Steadicam shot, walking in and around the house, into the back door, up the stairs, grabbing a knife, up the stairs, walking into our lead actress's bedroom, she turning around, looking into camera, having a knife come down and stab her multiple times, at which point the little boy wakes up from his nightmare. Of course, we didn't have the luxury of having Jamie Lee Curtis return in this film, but we did have the lovely Marianne Hagen, as you can see here, who did an outstanding job. She's on par with Jamie Lee Curtis, in my opinion, in terms of her acting ability, and she has a great presence. You know, she really conveyed a sense of vulnerability in this character, and that's really how I wrote her. And I think she was, of everyone, she was the closest to what I envisioned as I was writing the script.
What was the whole idea of the radio? Like, why did you use that?
Well, I just thought it was a fun way, because there were so many different interconnecting stories. I thought, how can we bridge all of these different characters and sort of unify it? And I somehow, I don't know what it was, but I came up with this idea of a radio disc jockey. In fact, I think in the original treatment it was Tommy. Tommy Doyle was the radio DJ of Haddonfield.
Oh, that's
he was
cool.
Broadcasting a Halloween Eve retrospective on Michael Myers and what he had done to this town. Right. This is a really gory scene. This whole sequence in the barn was a reshoot. Originally she didn't die like this, and in fact in the original script Jamie did not die until the very end of the movie. This was actually, I want to say this was the first shot of the movie. This definitely was. This was the first day.
Now, that wasn't the original house. You guys had another house in mind.
Right, that was... Yeah. There was another house that they had locked down. It was in a small neighborhood in Salt Lake. And when the people who owned it, who were Mormons, found out about the violent nature of this film, I don't know how they wouldn't have known, they, at the last minute, I understood, pulled the plug. So they had to literally go around and search, like, in the final 2 days of pre-production, and they found this house, which was great.
That scene in the kitchen with Danny, what was the significance with the knife?
I think it was a way to set up for the audience that this child, who's living in the same house that Michael Myers lived in as a boy and committed some pretty heinous acts in, is really taking on that spirit. And whether it's a supernatural entity, if there's something about this house, I mean, it really wasn't our intent to explain everything away.
Well, it's very Amityville horror. To sort of be influenced by the environment,
right.
The house.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I think it is a haunted house. I mean, it may not be literally haunted by ghosts, but it's certainly haunted by a very dark energy. This is a great John Carpenter, I thought, shot. With him just in the background, out of focus like that, and just the camera, just that steady push in behind her. I love that.
And she seems so panicked.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe you let us move
into
this house.
The husband being,
face.
She's great. And she's like, and he's so dismissive of her, which is so funny. It's like, you just want this guy to get it. This is another great John Carpenter, like Dean Cundy shot. Just that Panaglide outside the house.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. It's so simple. And the director really, I think, Joe Chappelle had a great vision for this part of the movie.
That's
what this character is.
Where something with the microwave dinner?
Yeah, that's what it was going. He was supposed to come home and he's complaining he doesn't have any dinner and where the hell is everyone? And he goes and he puts a lean cuisine in the microwave, goes and turns the TV on, and Halloween 3 is playing on television. And he turns it to the news. And then he hears the microwave go off. He goes back in the kitchen, and someone has laid his piping hot entree out on the table for him. So he thinks the family's home.
It's creepy.
Right,
it's creepy.
He goes back to the living room, and somebody's turned it back to Halloween 3. So here we begin the long series of scenes that comprise the 4-day reshoot on this film, which took place in the summer of 1995. Like, literally months. So this whole
ending took 4 days.
4 days.
To film.
Not only the ending, but all of his insert shots you've seen earlier in the film, like the exploding head and Jamie's death.
4 days.
4 days.
So what happens in the producer's cut instead of this shot?
He goes back in, and he thinks is Michael, who's been incapacitated within this protective circle of light. He goes in, and it turns out that Michael has, I thought, cleverly switched costumes with Dr. Wynn, and put Dr. Wynn in the mask and in the overalls, coveralls. And suddenly Loomis mysteriously and mystically has acquired the thorn symbol on his wrist, and it appears that Dr. Loomis will now become the guardian of Michael Myers.